Have you ever wondered why you react the way you do, even when you thought you'd grown out of certain patterns? Why you sometimes feel like a child in an adult world, yearning, aching, withdrawing, or performing, without quite knowing why? The answer may be simpler and deeper than you think, because inside of you, right now, lives your inner child, not as a memory, not as a phase you've outgrown, but as a living, breathing presence within your unconscious mind. A part of you that still carries the essence of your earliest years. The part that holds your playfulness, your awe, your wonder, your untamed imagination, and also your fear, your confusion, your unmet needs, your wounds. You see, your inner child is not in the past. They show up in the present, in the way you react when you feel abandoned, misunderstood, or not enough, in the way you shrink when criticized, or the way you chase love as if it could finally make you whole. Your upbringing, the way you were parented, conditioned, educated, played a massive role in shaping this inner child. Because as a child you are wide open, you're a sponge, you absorb everything, spoken and unspoken. As children, we are deeply sensitive and incredibly adaptive. We learn quickly how to gain love and avoid rejection, shaping ourselves in response to the world around us. And over time, you start to hide the parts of you that didn't feel safe. You push your tears away. You silence your needs. You laugh to cover the pain. You become who you believe you need to be, not necessarily who you are. Because you began to recognize what behaviors brought approval or praise, and you leaned into them. You also began to understand what triggered disapproval, anger, or withdrawal from those around you. And instinctively, you tucked those parts away, hiding them in the shadows of your unconscious. Bit by bit, you formed an identity based on what seemed lovable or acceptable, projecting this mask into the world while the fullness of who you are remained unseen, even to yourself. This is how the mask forms, a personality built around survival, acceptance, and approval. But beneath that mask is a self you may have forgotten, a tender, powerful self, still waiting to be seen, heard, held, and loved. This is where inner child work begins. It is the practice of turning inward, of meeting the young parts of yourself that got frozen in time, the parts that didn't get the nurturing, validation, or safety they needed, the parts that never learned to fully grow up because they were too busy surviving. We do not do this work to dwell on the past. We do it to reclaim the future. Because unless we meet and integrate these parts, we continue to live through them on autopilot, reacting instead of responding, avoiding instead of feeling, pleasing instead of honoring, surviving instead of thriving. Inner child work is not just a concept. It's a process of reparenting yourself. It means learning to show up for the parts of you that were ignored or misunderstood. It means giving yourself the very love, boundaries, and attention you didn't always receive. It's asking, what do I need? What do I feel? What would love do for me right now? You begin to soften. You begin to listen. You begin to remember that your needs are valid. Your voice matters. Your sadness is sacred. Your joy is safe. And as you listen more closely, you start to uncover the beliefs you've been carrying, the ones you never chose. Beliefs like, I'm too much. My needs are a burden. If I speak up, I'll be rejected. I have to do everything alone. These beliefs are not your truth. They are the residue of unprocessed pain. An inner child work invites you to unlearn them and to rewrite the story. Throughout childhood, you form beliefs not only about yourself, but also about others, about love, and about life itself. If your needs were consistently unmet or ignored, you may have internalized the idea that your needs don't matter, or that it's safer not to ask at all. If you were shamed or dismissed for feeling upset or sad, you might have learned to bury your emotions and present a smile even when you're hurting. Sometimes the messages were subtle, energetic, telepathic, unspoken, but your child self absorbed them all and made meaning from them, shaping how you would navigate the world. Until we begin the process of meeting and healing our inner child, we remain largely ruled by unconscious programming. Our reactions, behaviors, fears, and emotional patterns are not fully adult choices. They're often the survival strategies of a younger self, still trying to stay safe, to belong, to be loved. This is where inner child work becomes essential. It's a form of shadow work, an invitation to bring light, presence, and compassion to the parts of yourself that have been ignored, suppressed, or denied for many years. When you love and nurture your inner child, you stop outsourcing your worth. You stop trying to earn love by abandoning yourself. You begin to ask for what you need without guilt. You set boundaries without fear. You receive love without suspicion. And most importantly, you become the safe, loving adult your inner child has been waiting for. As you begin to gently connect with your inner child, you start to understand why certain parts of you react the way they do, and more importantly, how to respond with care instead of judgment. You learn to hold space for your pain rather than bypass it or try to fix it. You offer yourself nurturing, structure, and consistency, elements that may have been missing or inconsistent during your early years. When we reconnect with and nurture our inner child, we stop seeking external validation to fill the void inside. We stop abandoning ourselves to gain love. We begin to speak up with clarity, set boundaries with confidence, and honor our truth without shame. We become capable of asking for what we need, not from a place of fear or desperation, but from a place of knowing we are worthy and whole. From that place, your relationships change, triggers lose their power, emotional patterns begin to soften. We start to choose rather than simply react. Your choices become rooted in truth. You become more whole, more real, more free. At the heart of inner child work is this truth. Every part of you deserves love, especially the parts that haven't felt it or have been denied it. And as you give love to those parts, they no longer control you. They integrate. They no longer seek your attention. They evolve. They become your allies. And you. You become the adult you were always meant to be. Empowered, connected, authentic, and deeply, radically at home within yourself. Becoming more whole and accepting of who you've been in the past and who you are becoming. At the core of this healing journey is love. The kind of love that says, every part of me belongs. Especially the parts that didn't feel lovable before. As these parts are seen, heard, and held, they transform. They no longer run the show. They become integrated into the fullness of who you are. And from this wholeness, you begin to live, love, and lead differently. So I ask, are you ready to meet the child within? Are you ready to remember who you are beneath the mask? The moment you say yes, your healing begins, your truth awakens, and your life starts to align with the love you've always deserved.